Welcome everyone and happy Friday. I'm Jodi. We are in my living room, normally at Krannert Art Museum, but here we are. So hopefully you're at home as well. You've got some props. I've got a couple blocks. Today we are going to use a strap. I just use a scarf, or you can use a long sleeve shirt. And I'm seated on a blanket. So the blanket just is folded and it allows me to have my pelvis tilting forward. And this is Phoenix, and he found a penny. It must be his lucky day. So I'm going to steal this penny from my cat, or we will be hearing the cat chase Penny the entire class. And life is distracting enough. So come to seated. We'll start seated. So sit bones grounding. You can kind of shift a little from side to side, really rooting into the pelvis. Noticing the legs. I notice my right leg is a little bit tighter today. So if you need to put a little cushion underneath your body, that could be really nice to offer some support. It's more for the nervous system. So when the body's hanging out, hanging in joints, and it can't really fully ground and relax, there can be some tension, and it goes at a deeper level than we sometimes are conscious of. So just finding what works for you. We can circle through the spine a little bit. We'll do some grounding and centering here in a moment, but just a little bit of movement. Maybe you've been sitting all day. We won't sit long. And then circle in the opposite direction. A lot of us doing a lot more technology, more sitting in front of computers, so you're also watching this on a computer, but at least we're moving. Lots of technology overload. So I know yesterday I went to the woods, I went out to Kickapoo, and it was really nice to just take that break in nature, really healing. All right, stilling the movement, grow the spine tall. Go ahead and take some rolls through shoulders, up, back, and down. Breathing, deeper breaths. Take a cleansing breath. Breathe in through the nose as you lift the shoulders up, back, and then exhale through the mouth as you drop them back down, and then roll forward and then up. Inhale, breathe deeply. Back and down, exhale. One more time. And then from here, finding just a moment of stillness. Hands can rest on thighs or knees. Eyes can close. Checking in with yourself, with how you feel, emotions, thoughts. You want to see what is alive in us. Anything that needs to be heard is valid. Maybe frustration, body tension, uneasiness. Just kind of investigate that. Allows us to be present, and we can be present with our deepest parts, our hardest parts. And then see what you can just let go of for the time being. We're not ignoring it, not discounting it, just what's alive and true in you right now. The breath, physical body, thoughts and emotions, not really tangible, doesn't truly define it, our present situation. So stay with the breath. Maybe forming an intention, something positive for yourself. One more breath here. Keeping the attention to the breath throughout the practice today. Then you can open the eyes with a soft gaze and just, again, roll through shoulders, up, back, and down. Plant the palms alongside the hips. Go ahead and lengthen out through the legs. You can point and flex through feet. Roll at the ankles. In all directions. Spread the toes. And then relaxing the toes, let the legs go a little wider. Just pump the backs of the legs into the earth. You can rock legs back and forth a little here. Stilling that movement, go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together, cobbler's pose. And again, it might be nice to have blocks underneath to support you. So my hips are chronically tight. It's nice to have that support. And think about driving the knees down into the earth. Starting to tone into the core. I'm toning my pelvic floor. I'm toning the low belly. All the while driving the knees down into the earth. There's no tension here. There's just engagement. And then relax that. And then you can press the palms into knees or thighs. Drive the knees up into the hands down into the knees to stabilize. So we're strengthening those adductor muscles with this effort. Strengthening the deep hip rotators. Just one more breath with this effort up. And then relax that, and then just rounding and bowing forward. So we've just warmed the body just in a really subtle way. Head can be heavy here. Get into the neck with a heavy head. Maybe gently sway the head from side to side, accessing that opening in the neck. Sway the torso a bit from side to side. Open up through the side bodies. So back body, strong back core muscles can get tight, especially again if we're sitting all day. Arriving once again eventually back through your center. You can think about toning through core to arrive back through seated. Palms can come underneath the knees, draw the knees in. Blocks can come off to the side. Just shifting off of the blanket. Excuse me. Palms alongside the hips. Windshield wiper the legs, just a little from side to side. If you go really shallowly here, you're just massaging into glutes, and that is a beautiful gift. And then if you're going big sweeping movements, you're getting again into those hip rotators. You can think about the knee driving into the arch of the foot. And then go ahead and release the knees over to the left side. I'm tucking that right shin underneath me, and then keeping my hand at the right shin. Relax the left arm and draw the left ear towards the left side, maybe even leaning into that left sit bone. The action of holding onto the shin allows the shoulder on that right side to relax down, getting a deeper stretch in the neck. And you can rock the head back and forth over the shoulder. Excuse me. Especially noticing rocking back, you can relax in the jaw as well. Soften the lips, soften the face. And one more breath. And to align the neck with the rest of the spine. Plant the palms alongside the hips, lift the hips up, tuck the tailbone. So I'm actively tucking under so that I'm seated more with that tailbone tuck. So I'm grounding the hips once again, and I'm getting more of a stretch into that right quad. I'm still tucking my tailbone, and with that action of tucking, I'm getting more of a stretch in my hamstring. That's not a hamstring, that's a quadricep muscle, and my hip flexor psoas. So again, those guys shorten quite a bit when we're seated all day, and you can plant the palms, maybe bend the elbows. If you're super open, maybe you're already on your forearms or on your back. This part of my body, for me, chronically just tight, and so I'm going to hang out here. Also, be mindful of the knees. If you've got any injury, any compression going on with the knees, just be mindful. This might not be the stretch for you. A couple more breaths here. So that pelvic tuck. One more breath. Shifting off the palms, come through seated, and take your time. You can start to lengthen through that right leg. So I've got the sole of my left foot right on the inner thigh, the heel close to the inner V of my leg, and then I can sweep forward as if I'm going to reach that left arm to the pinky toe edge of the foot. Right now, today, it's right to the edge of the shin because this body is tight. And you can play with flexing through the foot. You can play with hinging at hips. You can play with a little cat-cow action of the spine. It doesn't really take much to get more of that stretch through the backs of the legs. And then settle into a shape, taking 3 deep breaths here. One more breath. Take your time. You can walk your hands up, coming through seated. We're going to come into kind of a similar shape, but this time you're going to ground the left palm on top of the left thigh. So really rooting that femur bone to the earth. I've got my other right hand over to the other side to stabilize. But as I press down, I'm twisting and then I'm hinging forward. It's not about how far I can go. The more I can draw that hip down and stabilize it, the more I'm getting a beautiful stretch. Again, that QL muscle, big back body muscle. It doesn't matter what it's called, but hopefully you're feeling it. If you've got a really tight, maybe psoas hip flexor, you might be feeling that. If you've got tight adductors, you're going to be feeling that. So whatever you're feeling is valid. Make sure it's not pain. So this rooting down really does make a difference in this particular stretch. And again, it's not how far down I can go, it's just that rooting action. Whew, and breathing. So try not to breathe shallowly, especially when the stretch is intense. Maybe just back off the stretch. Make sure you can breathe fully. There's a lot of science behind why we want to breathe fully. So even in these poses, we want that to still be the priority. One more deeper breath. And shifting and coming back through seated. From here, we're going to strengthen that hip flexor psoas. So you're going to tone the leg. You can actually, when you tone that quad and engage that quad, the kneecap, you can watch it, it'll lift. I want you to engage your core. You can tent the fingers down, so if I go too far down towards my foot, I can't lift my leg. I don't have that kind of strength. But maybe around the kneecap you can do that. If not, maybe further back, but try not to lean back. We're going to try and compress the thigh to the belly. Engage the core, engage that leg. We're going to pulse that up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let that go. Spin around. Plant the left palm and sweep up. We're going to move with the breath. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, ground down. Inhale, lifting, arching, really stretching that muscle we just hopefully didn't cramp. Exhale, draw back down. Inhale, really lengthen. Press the hips forward. Exhale, and then sweep in the opposite direction. Notice you're getting stronger in that left shoulder as well. Left fingertips, left knuckles are grounding. Breathing. Moving with the breath. Next time, just hold it at the top. Arching back, open through the waist, the shoulder, open the heart. One more inhalation here. Stay lifted as you exhale. We're just spinning around into a down dog. If you need a break, coming into child's pose, it's up to you. So in the down dog, you can paddle out through feet, bending knees, maybe one knee then the other. Just open up the toes, open up the sole of the foot, those calf muscles. All my joints are popping as usual, on command. One more breath. You can release knees down to the earth, cross at the ankles, shifting back. However you come to seated, that's up to you. We're just going to do the other side. So you've got knees bent, feet planted. Planted wide, palms alongside the hips, windshield wiper the legs. Maybe notice a bit more opening on that side that we did. It's important to notice the impact of the practice on the body. Shifting the knees over to that right side, I'm tucking the left shin under. This should be comfortable, no torture. My left sit bone's a little bit grounded, but I'm trying to root it down. Priority is the neck though, so I'm taking hold of that left shin with the left hand. The right arm is just relaxed as I shift over to that right side. And breathe. Exploring some movement of the head if that feels appropriate for your body. Just a couple more breaths. One more breath. Let's take your time to realign the neck. Won't be the last time we work on the neck. I have chronic bad neck too. So plant the palms alongside the hips, lift the hips up, tuck the tailbone once again, and explore that sensation of stretch. Hopefully the entire quad is opening, maybe into the hip flexor psoas. I'm also getting a secondary stretch on the top of that foot. Just noticing where I'm tight today. Again, maybe you're down on forearms. That's fine. Maybe you're all the way on your back. Just breathing, still actively tucking the tailbone. Noticing that relationship between really everything, the pelvis, the muscles of the legs. One more breath. Starting to lift through the spine. I'm just going to shift on my mat a little, but go ahead and lengthen through that left leg. Just take your time. I can feel the energy just release down that leg. It feels really good. Whole body supported by the mat. And then you're just going to kind of hinge forward right at the inner V, sweeping that right arm across. So really lengthen through the spine, reach long, and then reach for the pinky toe edge of that leg. And again, I've got my left palm to the outer leg, and I'm twisting slightly. So the more I can press that left palm into the earth, the more I can find that rotational quality in the spine. So a lot of beauty happening here in that spinal movement, and the ribs and the back. And then I can play with flexing the foot. I feel that more in my calf. And then if I play with a little bit of cat-cow, it's really small and subtle. Especially with that pelvic tilt, I'm feeling that more in my hamstrings. Again, that all the levers and pulleys and like rubber bands. Finding those attachment points in the body and the bones. It's beautiful to get to know your body in this way. You can tone the quadricep, that relaxes the hamstrings. We can get a deeper stretch. You can close the eyes, just a few breaths here. One more breath. Press palms into the earth, core strength, arm strength, find alignment. We're going to get into that more back body stretch by grounding my right hand to the right thigh. And then again, rotating forward and down. I'm feeling this lower in my kind of almost outer glute, but definitely lower back, still probably QL. So really grounding that palm to the thigh. My other palm is to the outstretched leg, other side, and I'm hinging forward. So it's just a different sensation. Hopefully somewhat enjoyable for you. You can still flex through the foot, you can still engage through that quadricep. Still breathe. One more breath here. Finding alignment in the spine once again. So some weight bearing going to happen here. Right palm ground. So really spread through the fingers. Lift as you inhale. Make sure that knee is protected. Exhale, just releasing down. So barely touching the earth, because inhale, we're sweeping back up, arching through the back, opening through the heart. Exhale, releasing back down. Inhale. Engage the back. Open the front, and then in the opposite direction, inhale, exhale. Uh-oh, I forgot a part, our favorite part, that lifting of the leg. You were hoping I'd forget. Inhale, reach and breathe here. One more inhalation. Exhale, sweeping down. We'll get to it. Content the fingers alongside that outstretched leg. Again, engage the core, engage that quad. Lift the leg for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just kind of pound it out, especially if you're getting a little crampy. And again, we can sweep around and still come into our down dog. Or child's pose, it's your choice. You can flow through a vinyasa here if you're feeling energized and good. Inhale through plank, maybe knees to the earth for the first one. Exhale, lower down your chaturanga. Slow with control. Inhale, just a baby cobra. Think about back body core working. And then exhale, let's all meet together. Let's take a child's pose together. Inner big toes touch. Really round the spine. Take your time to arrive here. All those transitions, those moments in between can offer a lot of benefit. You can always stack the hands, maybe forehead to the hands or forehead to the earth. Breathing here. And one more breath. Begin to press the palms under the shoulders. Arrive in your tabletop, spread through the fingers, head heavy for a moment. As promised, just a little bit more neck work. You can gently sway the head from side to side. Notice the neck. See what it means. Nod the head, yes. Chin more towards the chest. Shake the head, no. Figure 8 the head. So really using the weight of that to open the neck. Just one more breath before we get too dizzy. And curl the toes under, walk the hands back for a moment. Just opening up through the soles of the feet specifically. You can shift the hips gently from side to side a little. Open up into the toes. Back through center, continue to lift as you walk your hands back. We're lifting knees, my heels are lifted as well. We're getting a beautiful stretch still in the feet, maybe inner legs. And from here we can bring the backs of the hands to the earth, as you round forward, this time with the weight of the head. We're also tractioning the neck a bit. Let the shoulders relax forward, round the spine, open up through the shoulders. Maybe the low back is where you're feeling this. Again, all valid. You shouldn't hurt. Nothing should hurt. One more breath. And then fingertips to the earth to help stabilize. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. So I'm going to angle my fingers towards the center, that long edge of the mat. So for me, my left foot is staying grounded, my right foot is long out on that mat. So it's up to you, however you land comfortably. You can always have blocks under the palms, so if it feels really like a strain for palms to come to the earth, we just bring the earth to us with blocks. And then go ahead and just move the pelvis, shift from side to side, really subtle movement. Notice those inner legs opening, really subtle. Again, nothing should hurt. And then you can bend one knee and then the other. Neck is neutral, spine is thinking about lengthening. Back through your center eventually, once you've evened out here. I'm going to bring my feet in just a little bit closer and start to walk hands, heart, and torso to the left side, left corner of the mat, maybe even reaching that right arm further out. Relax the head and neck. You can start to bend through that right knee. And I'm fingertipping, gluing my fingertips to the earth to really get that stretch on that right side. I'm feeling that beautifully in my right outer shoulder. One more breath. Back through your center, pausing, breathing. And then you're just going to walk to the other side. Again, reaching long, left arm reaching, tent the fingers, and then bend through that left knee. Finding that tractioning, stretching, breathing into that left side body. One more breath. So keeping that left knee bent, starting to spin all 10 toes over towards the short end of the mat. So you're in a runner's lunge here. Plant the palms, sweeping that leg back. We're in plank. Again, you can lower knees to the earth or keep them lifted. Either way, shift forward. Inhale. Preparing. Exhale, lower down. Coming onto the belly, into Sphinx for a moment. Nice little heart opener here. You can actively drag the arms back, reach the heart forward. So think about the center of the shoulder blades in the back body, coming through the front body. And breathe. Do a little shift of the torso from side to side. Back through your center, Sphinx Roll-Ups. So we're going to round the spine, peel the belly, the pelvis, the thighs away. Draw the knees to the elbows drive toward the knees. Draw the low belly in and up. Keep the neck neutral, keep breathing. If the body's shaking, that's good. One more inhalation. Exhale, lower down thighs, pelvis, belly, stretching those transverse abdominals that we just worked. Lengthen the spine. You can slightly lift the gaze as long as it doesn't cause any strain in the neck. Maybe a nice stretch in the front of the body. We're going to do that again. Inhale. Exhale, rounding, bowing, and peeling away. You can stay here on the knees or on the tops of the feet, lift the knees. If you start to cramp, it's not worth it. I get more action by driving knees towards elbows. That's stronger for me. Depends on what you want to work. One more inhalation in that effort. And exhale, lower back down. Something to play with as well on your own. So from here, if you're feeling good, you can start to lift the elbows away from the earth. I'm dragging my palms back towards my hips. If I just press the mat away, I crunch in my low back. If I drag the heels of my hands towards the heels of my feet, I get a really beautiful mid-spine opening. That's what we want. One more breath, playing with that. And then lower down, make a little pillow for the head, bend the knees, you can sway the legs. It helps to release tension in the low back. Send the legs strongly away from you. Palms press under the shoulders, tone the back body core, inhale. And then press the mat away with strong core. Exhale just a moment in your child's pose. So really stretching through the low back. If there was any tension, you can work that out here. One more breath. And stretching long through the arms, elbows lift, strong in the fingers, strong in the arms. Hug muscle into bone. Begin to lift up, hips away from heels. Curl the toes, lengthen through the legs. You can pedal that through feet a little bit here. Eventually walking the feet in towards the hands. Feet can go wide, knees can be soft. We're just coming into our forward fold, hinging at hips. Fingers can dangle. Maybe you hold on to either elbow. You can be still. You can rock, maybe forward and back. You can sway from side to side. Does not matter. Just exploring this inversion. Couple more breaths. Finding stillness, bend the knees a little. Bring the palms to the thighs, pressing up, rolling up through the spine. Lengthen slowly. Head is heavy, it comes up last. Lengthen through legs, arriving in standing, roll through shoulders a few times, up, back, and down. And then just stepping to the top of your mat, finding mountain pose. We're going to come through a few standing poses. So, I'm gonna move this blanket out of the way. You might want 2 blocks just ready for you right at the top of the mat. You might not, it's up to you. So standing in your mountain pose, playing with balance, playing with core strength. You're gonna bring your hands to your hips. The left foot is gonna stay grounded. And we're gonna lift that right knee up as high as you can. So that compressive energy to the thigh, to the belly, we practiced that earlier. And then as slowly, with control as you can, begin to extend that right leg back. And then slowly, softly touching down the ball of the foot. Wiggle toes back, sink the hips low. Just work on the foundation here. Go ahead and strengthen through that glute. Engage the glute, engage the hamstring. That helps to open up this hip flexor psoas. Just has that relationship. Just play with that. Don't worry about anything else. We're going to come into warrior 3 from here. So you can hinge forward at the hips, launching forward as you're ready. Maybe hands come to the heart. You can bring hands to the block. You can really work on that stabilizing leg engaging, work on the core engaging. You can work on the glutes and the hamstring engaging of that back leg. And instead of twisting open, this is a little bit easier. When you keep the hips more level as they're supposed to be, it's harder. You can come away from the blocks and see that. And then as you rise through the spine, lift that right knee up as high as you can again. Take hold of the shin. Lift it up even higher. Lengthen through the spine. Keep that knee lifted as you release it. And then release everything back down to the ground. Shift it out. Walk it out. Pop those ankles. Maybe it's just me. My poppy ankles. It's fine. You should have two very different legs in this moment. Different sensations happening. All right. Do the other side. So hands to the hips. You can spread the right toes, broaden through the sole of the right foot. Excuse me. Becoming lighter on that left foot. Drive the knees skyward. Really compress there. Engage through the core. Low belly engagement. Use all of that still. And extend back slowly. We're landing gracefully, slowly, softly in that lunge. The knee should stay right over the ankle in front. Left hip driving forward, right hip driving back. Engage the back booty. That glute hamstring engagement opens up that hip flexor, and we're just hanging out here in that stretch. Breathing. Maybe sinking lower, keeping that back leg straight and strong. Lifting the back knee. One more breath. Shifting the torso forward, freeing up that back leg. See if you can just drag it forward without touching. The floor is hot lava. Drive the knee skyward. Interlace the fingers in front of the kneecap. Lift even higher. Lift the spine. Lift the leg. Keep it all lifted. The heel drawing in towards the glute. And then slowly release that back down. Just shake it out. Pause for a moment, intermission for a moment. Sweep the arms up, inhale. You can take hold of the left wrist with the right hand. Inhaling again, and then exhale over to that right side. Inhale, flowing back through center. I realize my head is getting cut up by the camera, that's okay. Taking hold of the opposite wrist, exhale. Stretching side body. One more time from side to side. Inhale. Exhale. Really stamping that left foot into the earth. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale. Over to the other side. Right foot really grounds us. Inhale, release the arms. Open the heart, lengthen, and then exhale. Sweep the arms down alongside the body. Again, just rolls your shoulders up, back, and down. Can feel freeing and nice. You can breathe in through the nose and then out through the mouth. Kitty cat brought me his ball because we play fetch. Step to the top of the mat. We're going to do this series again. Hands can come to the hips. Shift the weight to the left foot. Drive the right knee up. See if it's any different this time around. And then drive that foot back in space. Control movement. This time, really landing in that foundation that we've created, and then incorporate the spine and the arms. They can sweep up, getting more of an opening, more of an expansion, heart shining skyward. Maybe biceps drive towards the ears more. But without any tension between shoulders and ears. Breathe here. One more breath, toning the glutes. Maybe keep the arms out, stretch, biceps by the ears, shifting forward, warrior three. Again, we want the right hip down in line with the left. Engage the glute and the hamstring. Maybe the blocks need to be utilized. Maybe hands to the heart, does not matter. One more breath in this exploration. And again, see if you can rise without touching down like I just did. Hot lava, hot lava. Lift that right knee up, interlace the fingers, drive the knee up. Feel that compressive energy between the thigh and the core. Release the arms, keeping that lift, and then relax the leg down. Shifting a little from side to side. Back through center. Do the other side. So the right foot stays grounded, lifting that left knee as high as you can. Feel that. So we can also feel the difference. And then slowly release the foot back. Find that foundation. And then from there, grow the pose up through the spine, the side waist lengthening, lifting, the arms opening, gaze lifting. Really strong. Re-engage that strength in the foundation here. Keep breathing. Energize the body with breath. Energize this pose with awareness. One more breath. And again, maybe the arms stay glued, biceps by the ears, shifting forward, warrior 3. This is challenging. It's a lot more weight. You can play with that. Maybe hands to the heart, maybe hands to the blocks. Lower the left hip in line with the right. Arms can sweep alongside the body. Tone the glute and the hamstring. One more breath here. Prepare for movement. So again, see as you lengthen through the spine, can you sweep that left knee through without touching down? Then taking hold of the left knee, lift it. Engage here, breathe. Keep it lifted, arms release. And then slowly relax that foot back down and shake it out. A little bit of movement. Let's bring the left foot back behind you on the top of the foot and just kind of roll. Roll in the opposite direction. This opens up that hip flexor psoas, but also the toes are opening. Extend that left leg back, rolling on the toes. And in the opposite direction. Stretching the top of the foot, top of the shin, front of the shin, and then back through your mountain pose. We're just going to flow to the ground. So connecting to the breath, finishing an exhalation. And as you inhale, sweep the arms up, finding more lift, more length. Keep that. As you exhale, swan dive, hinging forward at the hips. Inhale, lifting up halfway, maybe hands to shins or thighs. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, stepping back into the top of a push-up. So we are in plank pose. We're going to play with side plank on the left side. So you can lower the left shin down, spin around, side plank, or you can stack the legs like you were in Tadasana and you just fell over. So really pressing into the earth, lifting through the hips, toning through the legs and the glutes. One more inhalation. Exhale, making your way back to your plank. Reestablish that. Again, maybe the right shin drops, or maybe come into side plank right side and breathe. Just temporary. One more breath. Back to plank. Inhale, prepare, shifting forward. Exhale, lower down, maybe through knees still. Inhale, tone the back body core in your cobra. Exhale, pressing back strongly, knees or not, down dog or child's pose. What do you need here? Down dog or child's pose. Starting to cool down the practice. Probably the last down dog that we'll do. One more breath wherever you're at. And then finding your seat, coming to seated on your shins. From here you can simply shift the hips to one side, sweep the legs out. We're coming back into our cobbler's pose. So, soles of the feet together symmetrically. I can lift my hips up and bring them closer to the heels. I can keep the palms there, drive the knees down, open through the heart. Tone through the low core. It's like the foundation for that tall spine. It's a strong, low belly. Keeping that core engagement, we're just going to play with a little bit of balance. So I'm shifting off the palms, I'm extending my arms out. See if you can shift forward, see if you can lift the hips away from the earth. So this is Levitation 101. So I'm just on the knife edge, pinky toe edge of the feet, trying to find balance. This is core work. And then relax back down. Shift the hips back. You can play with that later. It's a party trick, right? Creating a bigger diamond shape. You can drive the forearms. So maybe it's just the wrists or the palms and you bow forward. If the body is accepting, you can draw the forearms underneath and drive forward. Some people are so open in the body, they can just rest their head in their feet. So that requires a lot of hip opening, a lot of back body opening. So wherever you're at in this, just be there, breathing, head is heavy. Breathing expansively into the entire body. One more breath. And start to release the arms out, press the palms into the earth, using that arm strength, using that core strength to rise. Hands under the knees, draw them in. Shifting so that you've got plenty of room back behind you. Bend the knees, plant the feet. The feet are further out away from you. Press the palms to the ceiling, finding a tall spine. Engage the core, start to roll back. Keep pressing the palms towards the sky. Keep rounding the spine. See how slowly you can release back down to the earth. Once you do, stretch long through the body, spread the fingers, spread the toes. Maybe a cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Melting a little bit into the earth. Feel the coolness of the earth supporting you. And then take your time, relax the arms back down, bend one knee, bend the other, just a little bridge here. You can think about tucking the tailbone, lifting the hips up, pressing the soles of the feet together, the soles of the feet into the earth, not together. A bit more opening through the front of the body, drive the knees forward. One of my teachers said, pressing the feet so much into the earth, driving the knees forward so much that it should feel like one day you could just stand up from here. That really stuck with me. One more inhalation, in a bit more lift, and then as you exhale, curl the spine, rolling down from the ribs, mid-spine, low back, tailbone meets the mat last, soften. From here we can come into a twist, so lift the hips up and over just to the left. The left knee on top of the right, maybe you get a double bind with that ankle. Arms can be in goalpost arms as you slowly release the legs over to the right side. So side body stretch, maybe outer hip stretch. Spinal twisting, gazing, getting over that left shoulder. You can maybe open up the neck more. Just allow there to be a heaviness, a melting sensation. Slowing down the practice, slowing down the breath. One more breath. Align the neck. You can draw the knees back up. It might also feel good to release the legs, one then the other. So we're not straining the muscles that we just utilized, or that we just stretched rather. So I'm lining back through my center. You can hug knees in. Maybe a little rock from side to side, reset through center. And then reground the feet. Lift the hips up and over to the right knee on top of the left, arms expanded, and then slowly release the legs over to that left side, gazing over to the right. And breathe. Heartbeat slowing. My intention in the body, just releasing that with the breath. One more breath. Lining the neck. And again, you can unwind the legs, maybe one at a time. Reset through center. Knees can hug in, rocking gently here, or happy baby. Taking hold of the soles of the feet skyward, a deep bend in the knees, maybe rocking there. So anything final that you need before our final resting pose. Shavasana. Maybe you want to plow, maybe you want more Shavasana time, so you can just go right into it. Eventually we'll all meet together there, legs long, feet wide. You can always have a bolster or pillow under the knees, arms alongside the body. Tuck the shoulders down and away from the ears. Head is heavy. Feel spacious in the body, feel complete in your practice. As you close your eyes, and simply rest. Begin to deepen your breath. Draw your thumb lightly over each fingertip. Bring sensation back to the body. And turning the thumb to the pointer finger, that wisdom mudra, just a reminder of your own inner wisdom, the wisdom of this practice that you can take with you through your day. Moving through the wrists, moving through toes and ankles, elbows bending, Shoulders opening. Stretch the arms, open and close the mouth, maybe into a yawn. A deeper breath. Take a cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Bending the knees, let the feet plant. Staying mindful in your movements. Roll gently to either side, just curling into a fetal position. The head is supported by the arm like a pillow. Keeping eyes closed. Or a soft gaze. Roll the chest and the belly more towards the earth. Use arm strength. Take your time, pressing up to seated. Have a rounded spine. Rounded shoulders. Head heavy, comes up last. Taking your seat. Much like we did when we began, but different, transformed. Taller spine and open heart. Hands to the heart. Just acknowledging this practice with a grateful heart. Again, taking something with you from this practice. Maybe a new intention. Let this have meant something to you. Namaste. Thank you, my friends. I miss seeing you, but I'm so grateful we can still continue this practice together in this way. Have a beautiful rest of your Friday and a beautiful weekend. And I look forward to next week. Thank you.